busy streets of Konoha, we find 3 girls walking calmly and carelessly. All of them had bags in their hands, meaning they had been shopping. One of the girls had blonde hair tied in a ponytail and was wearing purple clothing. The other girl had an unusual hair color, pink. Her clothes were also of the same color. The last girl had black hair tied in 2 buns and brown eyes. She was wearing a Chinese-style shirt with dark green pants. That was fun, Ino said to her friends. It had been a while since they had managed to hang out all together. With all their teams training, it was hard to sneak a couple of hours of fun all together. Yeah, we haven't hanged out since the Chunin exams, Sakura replied. Sasuke and Kiba were busy today, so I'm glad we took this chance, Sakura said. With Sasuke being constantly trained by Kakashi and Kiba being trained by his clan, she sometimes felt out of place when with her team. Well, I normally don't have much trouble with my team. Shikamaru's a lazy ass. How he got promoted is beyond me, Ino said, shaking her head. And then there's Choji, who's always eating. All they want is to be left alone, and Asuma-sensei doesn't give much work after team meetings, so I have plenty of free time, Ino happily said. Lucky you, my team is full of freaks, Tenten said, sighing. Guy-sensei and Lee are both freaks, always yelling about the flames of youth. I swear they could pass as father and son, Tenten said, shaking her head. At least there's Neji, Tenten said, a bit happier now. Neji, is it? Ino asked, teasing her friend. It was a known fact that Tenten didn't openly chase after boys, as she was more devoted to training. Okay, quick side note before we get back to the story. I don't know if Tenten actually even won a fight in all of Naruto. I mean, there was the Chunin exams where she got destroyed by Tamari, but after that I can't really remember any other fights. I think she might have fought a clone of herself in Shippuden in the war arc. I don't even remember what she did in the war arc, honestly, but anyways, back to the story. What? Tenten asked, stuttering and trying to hide her blush. You have a crush on Neji, admitted, Sakura said, joining the fray. Fine, I like him, Tenten said, crossing her arms. Tell us more, Ino said, giddy, wanting some details. Well, he's pretty strong. I had a crush on him since the academy, but he was always a jerk. But since the Chunin exams, he's way better, Tenten said with stars in her eyes. I don't know, I just want to be around him since he forgot about that fate crap, and I enjoy his company even more, Tenten said. Aw, Ino and Sakura fawned. They finally got the cracker shell. I guess I owe Hinata, thank you, Tenten said as she reflected on Neji's match against Hinata. And then there's Hinata and Naruto. Who would have thought out of the supposed dead last loudmouth would have hooked up with the supposed shy girl who had a crush on him, Ino said. They hid their relationship from everyone, Sakura said. All that time, he kept pestering me for dates was nothing more than lies, Sakura said, sighing. Don't tell me you're going for Naruto now, Ino asked in disbelief. No, I'm faithful to Sasuke, Sakura instantly said. You're Sasuke, Ino asked with a tick mark. Alright, Tenten said before this could escalate and they started bitch-slapping each other in the middle of the street. But you gotta admit, they do make a good couple, Tenten said. Hinata and Naruto were pretty good together. Naruto's loud and Hinato's quiet. They were perfect for each other, like yin and yang. They do, Sakura said, agreeing with her friend. Hinata Senju doesn't have a bad ring to it, Sakura said, smirking. Naruto Senju, head of the Senju clan. No wonder Sasuke never got along with them, Sakura said, laughing. He's the talk of the village. He even has a fan club now. I already took down the Kazekage and 200 shinobi with a single jutsu, Tenten said, shocked that again he could pull that off. He defeated that sand Biju and then went to help the Hokage against Orochimaru, Tenten explained. She only met Naruto in the Chunin exams, and he was a supposed dead last without any talent. I still don't believe that Naruto belongs to the most powerful clans in the world, the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan, Ino said, shaking her head. He's directly related to 3 of the 4 Hokages, and now his grandmother was named the 5th Hokage, Ino explained. She still couldn't believe that Naruto belonged to the Senju clan. It was like all that yelling about becoming Hokage ran in his blood, after all. Grandmother? Tenten asked. You don't know? Ino asked, and Tenten shook her head. He's the grandson of Tsunade Senju, Ino explained, and Tenten squealed like a fangirl. Really? Tenten asked with stars in her eyes. Yeah, what's the big deal? Ino asked, not sure as to why Tenten would react in such a way. Tenten scratched the back of her head in shame of such a reaction. She squealed like a fangirl. It's just Lady Tsunade is my idol. I want to be strong like her, Tenten said, and Ino nodded. Maybe you can ask Naruto to introduce you to her, Sakura explained. I'll ask him when they get back, Tenten replied, happy that her role model and idol was coming to the village again, and to be the 5th Hokage nonetheless. How about we hit the hot springs? Ino asked. All of them had team training in the morning, and after a few hours of shopping and a nice bath would relax them. I agree, let's go, Sakura said, and they all headed towards the hot springs for a soothing bath. It was their luck that Jiraiya was out of town, not that he would peek on them. Konoha's north gate. 5 figures could be seen walking calmly through the wooded forest outside of Konoha. Well, 6 figures if you count the pig that was being carried in the arms of one of the figures. They were none other than Tsunade Senju, Shizune Kato, Jiraiya, Hinata Hyuga, Naruto Senju, and of course the pig, Tauntaun. They had the same clothes except that Naruto now proudly displayed his new necklace. Naruto now had an emerald necklace on top of his black Anbu chestplate. His necklace was glistening and reflecting the sun rays that escaped through the trees, making it shine. The necklace that once belonged to Hashirama Senju was now in Naruto's possession. It is said that it was worth 3 mountains of gold. Although the necklace had a very high value, he wore it because it belonged to his clan and grandfather. It was a fairly heirloom, so to speak. They arrived at the gates and checked in with the gate's eternal guards, Kotetsu and Izumo, Jiraiya, Naruto Senju, and Hinata Hyuga returning from a successful mission with Tsunade Senju and Shizune Kato, Jiraiya said, waking the guards from their slumber. And the pig Tauntaun, Jiraiya completed. It's good to see you, Lady Tsunade, Kotetsu said. Tsunade hadn't been in the leaf in over 15 years. It's good to be back, I suppose, Tsunade replied, and they continued walking. I guess I'm heading towards the Hokage Tower, Tsunade said. Alright, see you later, Granny, Naruto said and started walking off when Tsunade called him back. Where are you going? Tsunade asked. Home, Naruto flatly replied. No, you're not, Tsunade said, crossing her arms. I'm not? Naruto asked, confused. No, you're coming to live with me in the Senju compound, Tsunade said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Wasn't half of the Senju compound destroyed when the Kyuubi attacked? Naruto asked, confused. My bad, Kurama said, and Naruto's sweat dropped with a casual response. Yes, but everything was rebuilt, someone answered. They all turned around to see Hiruzen walking towards them smoking his pipe. Tsunade, it's good to see you again, Hiruzen said, hugging his old student. Not that he would tell her that she was old. He hadn't seen her or heard from her since the last time she was in the village, which was over 15 years ago. You too, Sensei, Tsunade replied and stepped back, grabbing him by the collar. But you have a lot to explain, Tsunade said, almost growling. What are you talking about? Hiruzen asked, confused. She was being all nice and now she was glaring daggers at him. You sent a letter telling me that Naruto was dead, Tsunade said, fuming. No, I did not, Tsunade. You are mistaken, Hiruzen explained. How about we take this to the office? Jiraiya stressed as the conversation was starting to get loud. Fine, Tsunade said. Hokage's office. Explain, Tsunade, Hiruzen said, trying to get to the end of this. I got a letter from you with your signature and stamp saying that Naruto didn't survive the attack, Tsunade explained, and Hiruzen sighed. I never sent you any letter. I tried to find you and even told Jiraiya to try and get a hold of you, Hiruzen explained, and Tsunade scoffed. Then how do you explain the letter? Tsunade asked. It was obviously fake. Do you still have it? Hiruzen asked, and Tsunade shook her head. Without it, we'll most likely never find the culprit, Hiruzen sighed. It doesn't matter anymore, Naruto said. I have her now, and that's the only thing that matters, Naruto explained, and Hiruzen smiled. At least Naruto got some family back. By the way, Naruto, you didn't answer about living with me, Tsunade asked. One condition, Naruto said, and Tsunade nodded for him to go on. Hinata gets to live with us, too, Naruto said. Of course, but no funny business until you're older, Tsunade stressed, and they both blushed. Besides, it will make it easier for me to teach her if she's living with us, Tsunade explained. Naruto nodded. Well then, it's decided. I'm gonna go pack then, Naruto said, and was about to walk off with Hinata, when he was interrupted again. Too bad you can't go, Naruto. You are the clan head of the Senju, remember? Hiruzen asked, and Naruto nodded. I'm summoning the council, and as such, you must attend, Hiruzen explained, and Naruto paled. He never thought of that, and being a clan head made it mandatory to attend every council meeting. Fine, let's get this over with, Naruto replied, and turned to Hinata. How about you go home and get started, and I'll join you when this is over, Naruto asked. Might as well, see you later, Hinata replied, and pecked his cheek before leaving. Anbu, Hiruzen called out, and an Anbu dropped from the ceiling, kneeling in front of him. Summon the council, Hiruzen ordered, and the Anbu vanished. Council meeting. Half an hour later, everyone was gathered at the council meeting. All of the clan heads were there, including the new head of the Uchiha clan, Sasuke. We are gathered here today so I can normally present my successor. Again, Hiruzen said, I named Tsunade Senju as my successor to take the place of 5th Hokage, Hiruzen stated, and waited for the council's reaction. I, Shibi Aburame, head of the Aburame clan, support the decision, Shibi said, getting up from his position and addressing the Hokage. I, Hiyashi Hyuga, head of the Hyuga clan, support the decision, Hiyashi said. I, Shikaku Nara, head of the Nara clan, support the decision, Shikaku said. I, Inoichi Yamanaka, head of the Yamanaka clan, support the decision, Inoichi said. I, Chosa Akimichi, head of the Akimichi clan, support the decision, Chosa said. I, Sasuke Uchiha, head of the Uchiha clan, support the decision, Sasuke said. I, Naruto Senju, head of the Senju clan, support the decision, Naruto said, giving a thumbs up at his grandmother. I, Homura Mikokado, personal advisor, support the decision, Homura said. I, Goharu Utatane, personal advisor, support the decision, Koharu said. I, Danzo Shimamura, personal advisor, reject the decision, Danzo said, but no one paid much attention to him. I, Mibuki Haruno, head of the civilian council, support the decision, Mibuki said. Then it's decided, the Hokage said, rising from his seat. Tsunade Senju, you are hereby appointed as 5th Hokage, Hiruzen said, handing her the hat. Thank you, Sensei, Tsunade said, placing the hat on her head. Keep it warm for me, Naruto said, and everyone minus Sasuke, who was too cool for that, chuckled at the comment. I promise that from now on, I'll protect this village from all enemies, foreign or domestic. For I am Tsunade Senju, 5th Hokage, Tsunade said, and everyone bowed to the new Hokage. Everyone left the room soon after Tsunade's proclamation, and Naruto turned to the pervert who had been listening to the meeting without anyone knowing except Naruto, who was a censor. Pervy sage, Naruto said, and Jiraiya stepped out from the shadows. Are you busy? Naruto asked. I was planning on doing a bit of research, but what do you need? Jiraiya asked. I was planning on fixing Gaara's seal today, but I'll need your help since we'll need to rebuild it completely, Naruto said, and Jiraiya nodded. He decided it was better to fix the seal now since Shukaku might be unleashed and destroy the hot springs. Granny, can we get a release form for the Sand siblings? Naruto asked, and Tsunade turned to Hiruzen so they could catch up on the events. After half an hour of explanation, Tsunade turned to Naruto. If you say they'll behave, I see no harm, Tsunade explained and signed the necessary documents. Here, Tsunade said, and threw him 3 Konoha headbands. Where will they be staying? Naruto asked, and Tsunade pondered. How well do you know this Gaara kid? Tsunade asked. I consider him a brother. He went through the same things as I did. All the hate the villagers threw at him, Naruto sadly said. Well then, bring them to the Senju compound. There's more than enough space for them, Tsunade said. Awesome, see you later, Naruto said and hugged Tsunade. Let's go then, Jiraiya said, and both left the Hokage Tower, headed towards the I&T department. Have you decided on the seal? Jiraiya asked. I think I'll use the same one I have, the 8 trigram seal, Naruto said, and Jiraiya nodded. His seal was one of the best around after all, I&T department. Jiraiya and Naruto quickly arrived at the department and easily got in, flashing the papers to the Anbu guarding the doors. They walked down the stairs until they reached the lower levels where the cells were. They walked past a few of them until they reached the last one where Gaara and his siblings were. Hey Gaara, I'm back, Naruto said, waking up Temari and Kankuro from their sleep. Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara said, looking at Naruto. It's Naruto Senju now. I'm taking my family name, Naruto said, and Temari's eyes popped out of her sockets. You're a Senju? Temari asked with her eyes as wide as saucers. Yep, Naruto replied and mentioned the Anbu to unlock the cell. But you have the Sharingan, Temari refuted. I belong to both the Uchiha and Senju clan, but I chose the Senju name, Naruto explained. And the Anbu unshackled Gaara. Where's Baki? Naruto asked. He was already released and went back to Suna. We decided to stay with Gaara until he was released, Temari explained, and Naruto nodded. Let's go, Gaara. We're taking care of your seal, Naruto said, and Gaara stared at him. What? Naruto rhetorically asked. I promised I would take care of the seal, and I always keep my promises, Naruto explained, and Gaara slowly nodded. Where are we doing this? Jiraiya asked. At the Namikaze compound. My father has a room in the basement completely filled with seals that block everything. That is where I train using the Kibi's chakra, otherwise the village would riot when they felt the chakra, Naruto explained, and Jiraiya nodded. Namikaze, don't tell me the 4th was your father, Kankuro asked, and Naruto nodded, confused. I guess you didn't hear the news. I'll tell you everything later, Naruto explained, tossing them the headbands. They quickly threw their old ones away and placed the new ones on. Congratulations. As of now, you are all Genin of the Leaf, Naruto said, chuckling while Kankuro growled at being a Genin. Namikaze House. All of them arrived at the front gates and Naruto swiped his finger to unlock the seals. They all entered the house to find Hinata running with a few shadow clones, packing the most important stuff. Hey Hinata, want some clones to help? Naruto asked. Sure, Hinata replied, and Naruto made 10 shadow clones. Each clone grabbed one of Hinata's and kissed her before going to work. Jiraiya never saw so much action in the same place and started scribbling fiercely in his notebook. This way, the original Naruto then led them all to the basement and into the same room. They opened the door and all of them stepped inside. It was a large round room, at least 10 meters wide. The walls were littered with seals, and in the middle of the floor was a kanji circle with the most complex seals around it anyone had ever seen. Stay here, and don't interfere, Naruto seriously said to Temari and Kankuro, who gulped and quickly nodded. Gaara, remove your shirt and lie down in the center of the circle, Naruto explained, and Gaara did as he was told. Do you want the new seal in any special place? Naruto asked, and Gaara nodded. Can I have it on the stomach like you? Gaara asked, and Naruto nodded. Really, kid? Jiraiya asked, and Naruto nodded. Naruto placed his hand on Gaara's stomach and channeled chakra, converting it to ink. The ink erupted from his hand and spread through Gaara's stomach. A trigram seal, Naruto said, and all the kanji started slithering into a focus point. The ink started to spin around Naruto's hand and started forming a spiral. Soon after the spirals formed and remained, the ink formed scribblings around the spiral, finalizing the seal. The easy part's done, Naruto said as he completed the new seal. Now all he needed to do was crack the old seal and switch Shukaku into the new seal. You hold the old seal while I transfer Shukaku over to the new one, Naruto said, and Jiraiya nodded. At the sidelines, Kankuro could only gulp when he heard Naruto saying he was going to switch Shukaku between seals. What if he escapes? Kankuro thought, scared out of his wits. Naruto already defeated him once, but I'm sure he can do it again. I hope, Kankuro thought, as Naruto was preparing for the final procedure. This might feel a little comfortable, Jiraiya said, and channeled a great amount of chakra into his 3-element seal, completely shattering it. Shukaku's chakra instantly started bubbling, but Jiraiya managed to keep it contained around Gaara's neck. Do it, Jiraiya said, and Naruto placed one hand on Gaara's neck, and another on his stomach, and he began transferring the chakra to the new seal. Seal, Naruto said, and funneled all of Shukaku's chakra into the new seal. The procedure only took about 5 minutes, since he only had to shift it and not remove it. Naruto finalized the chakra transferring by closing the seal and transferring the key over to Gaara, while explaining the works of the new seal. It's done, Naruto said, and both Kankuro and Temari rushed towards Gaara, who was now sleeping peacefully. He's sleeping? Temari said. Of course he is, Naruto said, getting up. The seal he has is the same as mine, and it was developed by my father, Naruto explained. He hasn't slept since he was born, Temari said, caressing her brother's face. He seemed so peaceful in his sleep. Thank you, Temari said, and hugged Naruto while Kankuro patted his back. You're welcome, Naruto said. Take him to the Senju compound. My grandmother said you guys are welcome to stay there with us, Naruto said, and they nodded. I'm off, Jiraiya said, and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Damn pervert, Naruto muttered under his breath, and led everyone out of the house. He gave Temari and Kankuro directions towards the Senju compound, since he now had another pervert to look for. See you guys later, Naruto said, activating his E-mist and swirling away. Damn, that was awesome, Kankuro said. Memorial Stone. Kakashi was once again drowning himself in regret at the Memorial Stone. Even after Naruto had told him that he should put the past where it belonged, it seemed that he still couldn't. Kakashi was lost in his thoughts when he noticed a small swirl appear next to him. He instantly knew who it was, as the swirl was very distinctive. Yo, Naruto, Kakashi said, greeting him. You're still here, Naruto said as he stood in front of the Memorial Stone and made a quick prayer in honor of the deceased souls. Yeah, I am, Kakashi simply said, and ended it there. I know what happened since you told me, but is it really for the best to pity yourself so much? I know you regret not being there for them, but you have to let it go, Naruto said, and Kakashi sighed. Easier said than done, Kakashi said. So, what brings you here? Kakashi said, trying to change the mood as he didn't particularly want to talk about them. I have the seal for your Sharingan eye, Naruto said, and Kakashi raised an eyebrow. Really? Kakashi asked, surprised, to which Naruto nodded. So, what do I need to do? Kakashi asked. Nothing, just sit down since you're taller than me, Naruto said, and Kakashi chuckled, and sat down on the ground. Don't you need Jiraiya's help? Kakashi asked. He's, busy, Naruto replied as he thought of what the pervert was currently doing. A voice echoed through the whole village, but it seemed to originate at the hot springs. Naruto looked up at the sky and managed to see a mop of spiky white hair flying while crying anime tears. He never learns, Naruto thought, sighing. Close your eye while I draw the seal, Naruto said, and Kakashi did as he was told. He removed his headband and kept his Sharingan eye closed. Naruto placed 2 fingers on his left temple and started leaking the kanji. The seal twisted itself around his eyeball in a swirl pattern above his eyelid. Seal, Naruto said, and the seal glowed momentarily before cutting all the chakra into his eye, transforming it into a pitch black eye that coincidentally matched his other one. How does it feel to see color with both eyes? Naruto asked as Kakashi gently rubbed his eye to get rid of a small itch. It works, Kakashi said in fascination. The eye is no longer draining my chakra and I can see perfectly, Kakashi said, standing up. Good, now let's try and activate the Sharingan. Channel chakra through the seal on your left eyelid and it should activate, Naruto said. Kakashi channeled a small amount of chakra to the seal to deactivate it, and the Sharingan flared to life. Naruto tried to punch Kakashi very fast and out of nowhere, but Kakashi managed to predict it. Good, it seems that Sharingan is working perfectly, Naruto said, and activated his own Sharingan to analyze the seal's interaction with Kakashi's chakra network. Naruto noticed that Kakashi's chakra coils behind his eyes were abnormally large. Your eye's chakra coils are extremely well developed. They come close to matching mine, Naruto said out loud. It's no surprise, the Sharingan has been active for years, Kakashi said, shrugging his shoulders, but Naruto didn't think just that would affect it so much. Rin sacrificed herself, forcing me to kill her, Naruto remembered when he talked about Kakashi's teammates. Kurama, do you think it's possible for a non-Uchiha to awaken Mangekyo? Naruto asked his partner. That's a good question. The activation of the Mangekyo affects the body as a whole, and for someone who isn't Uchiha, it's difficult to say, Kurama replied, and Naruto brought his hand to his chin. Kakashi-sensei, can you do me a favor and channel more chakra into your eye? Naruto asked, and Kakashi shrugged his shoulders and did just that. His Sharingan eyes started glowing and spinning, and seemed to want to start merging into kamas. A bit more, Naruto said, and Kakashi channeled more chakra into his eyes. Slowly but surely, the Sharingan started spinning, and the kamas started stretching and fusing together. Just as I thought, Naruto said, looking at Kakashi's Sharingan, who had turned it into a Mangekyo. Is something wrong? Kakashi asked, slightly scared that he would lose the only thing that connected him to Obito. You have a Mangekyo, Naruto said, and Kakashi's jaw dropped. Kakashi calmed himself and noticed that his perception with the Sharingan had increased. He could now see further and with more detail. How is it possible? Kakashi asked, confused. Well, it's obviously a half-blooded Mangekyo, but it's one nonetheless. I didn't think it was possible for a non-Uchiha to awaken it, Naruto explained, and they both headed towards a nearby lake so Kakashi could take a look at his new eye. Looks like you got a brand new tool, Naruto said, chuckling at Kakashi, who was gaping like a fish. What can it do? Kakashi suddenly asked. He seemed like a kid on a sugar rush. Each Mangekyo has its own abilities. I know how to use 3 of them, and I can teach you them, but if you can use them, it depends on your eye, Naruto explained, and Kakashi nodded. Another thing, these techniques require much more chakra than the standard Sharingan, Naruto said, and Kakashi nodded. Also, and this is very important, Naruto said with a serious tone, your eye belongs to a half-blood, which means the more you use your Mangekyo, the more your sight is affected. So you should leave it as a last resort, Naruto said, and Kakashi nodded, making a mental note on the implications of using his new eye. I can start teaching you now, or are you busy? Naruto asked, but Kakashi shook his head, getting ready to try his new eye. Let's begin with Kamui. Sundown, Senju Compound. Naruto and Kakashi had spent the rest of the afternoon practicing their eyes. Naruto was using his Mangekyo and constantly spamming Amaterasu to further increase its power, or reducing the cast time. All the while, he was also teaching Kakashi how to use the powers. Of all the 3 powers Naruto had, Kakashi only managed to learn Naruto's Kamui, and that was only partially. Kakashi could activate his Kamui to send objects to his own dimension, but couldn't send his own body. Naruto quickly theorized that he needed both eyes to be able to dematerialize his body. Naruto explained to Kakashi that he used his left eye for long-range Kamuis while he used his right eye for making himself intangible in close-range Kamuis. Based on these facts, it looked like Kakashi had received a long-range eye. In the end, it didn't matter. Kakashi had still received a very powerful gift, but this one was meant only for killing. Kakashi could transport objects into his dimension, but somehow he couldn't bring them back. Anything that was transported to his dimension would remain there for all eternity. Naruto channeled the remains of his chakra and used his Kamui to go towards the Senju compound. When you spend a half a day spamming Amaterasus, you tend to exhaust yourself. At least he got his control better using the black flames. Naruto arrived near the compound gate and stayed there astonished at the sheer magnitude of the place. The damn compound seemed to go on forever. He never thought that the compounds were this big. Sure, he had seen them on the outside, but standing inside, one really placed things in perspective. "Oh, Naruto," Shizune said as she watched Naruto arrive and went to greet him. "This place is huge," Naruto said, and Shizune giggled at his childish reaction. "Yes, it is. When the village was founded, the Senju clan was on its prime, and had many members," Shizune said. "This compound has almost 100 rooms, not including bathrooms, storage rooms, and training grounds," Shizune explained, and Naruto's eyes widened. 100 rooms? It's bigger than the Uchiha Hyuga compound, Naruto thought, observing the buildings around them. "Come on," Shizune said, motioning him to follow her. "We'll all be staying in the main house that is large enough for all of us. I'll take you on a tour," Shizune said, and Naruto followed. Naruto followed Shizune, and she did a quick tour around the main house. It was a simple, traditional house made of wood. It had 2 floors and a basement. The main house had 10 rooms, 4 bathrooms, and a very large library. I'm checking it out. I'll meet you later," Naruto said, blurring away from Shizune, and heading into the library. Shizune giggled at him as she watched him run towards the library. The library was very large and was filled with scrolls. Naruto was pretty much drooling at the prospect of being able to learn so many jutsus. "Naruto," Hinata said, and turned around to see his beautiful girlfriend at the library's entrance. "Can you believe how many jutsus are here?" Naruto said to Hinata, who giggled at his reaction. He was always a sucker for learning new jutsu so he could blow stuff up. "By the way, did you destroy the space bridge at the house?" Naruto asked. His clones didn't know anything about it, and Naruto was wondering if Hinata had destroyed the seal at his house that allowed him to walk into the Namakatsu compound. "I did, don't worry," Hinata replied. "Space bridge?" a new voice asked, and Naruto turned around to see Tsunade walking towards them. "Yeah, it's like a portal of some sort that I created, and that allows, once activated, to simply walk through the portal and end up at the destination," Naruto explained. "In my case, I created one that allowed me to go back from my house to the Namakatsu compound, and back simply by walking through the portal," Naruto said, and Tsunade hummed in thought. "Can anyone use it?" Tsunade asked. She was already thinking of the applications of such a useful device. "It was key to my Hinata's back, but it can be made for anyone. Why do you ask?" Naruto asked. "Because maybe you could place one that connected the Senju compound to the Hokage tower, so I don't have to walk all the way there," Tsunade explained. "I don't exactly have space-time techniques like you," Tsunade said, scoffing at the other blonde. "Of course, Granny. I'll do it tomorrow," Naruto said, and Tsunade left along with Hinata, leaving Naruto to drown himself on jutsu scrolls. 30 minutes later, Naruto had spent half an hour skimming through the scrolls, trying to learn something new. After all of that time, he came to the library scowling the whole Senju clan and muttering profanities against them. In the whole library, he could only find jutsus related to earth and water jutsus. In almost 100 jutsus, he didn't find any fire or lightning jutsus. He sighed and walked out of the library and went exploring the rest of the house. Naruto heard Tsunade calling out, "Come to the kitchen for dinner." Naruto was happy. He never had anyone calling him for dinner except Hinata. Naruto ran through the halls with his Kamui phasing through the walls so he could reach it faster. Naruto arrived at the kitchen and saw everyone sitting down and waiting for him. There were Shizune, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Hinata, and of course the Sand siblings. He walked calmly towards the table and sat down to eat. He was finally home with his family.